All right, guys, it is the eve of State of Origin 2, and it is Team List Tuesday, 10 past 4. The teams have been named. We've seen some Origin players, most of them backing up. We see the Penrith boys not making the trip to New Zealand. We see some key names benched and some even bigger names not playing this weekend. So let's talk through it all.
It's time to strap in and get ready. You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Matrix, and Whisperer.
G'day, guys, and welcome back to the Insight NRL Show. It is TLT. It is round 16 already. The season is flying by, and we're here to talk through all of the ins and outs from what we're looking at with the teams for round 16. I am the SC Brain, and this show, of course, is brought to you by Game Day Squad, giving you the perfect crossover between card collecting and the fantasy sports world. You can win for free, doesn't cost you a thing. You can go and collect cards, build up a squad, and take on your mates and the Game Day Squad community. Plenty of cash, up to $100,000 in prizes. Get involved today. Use the code IFSAUS when you download the Game Day Squad app, or go to gamedaysquad.com.au and get 3 9-player common cards when you use that IFSAUS code. There is a State of Origin exclusive competition coming your way as well, every single State of Origin game. So make sure to get involved in that as well. Download the app, use that code, and take us on. Now, of course, there is plenty going on this week. We've got 3 teams on the bye as it is. We've got the Bulldogs, we've got Dragons, and we've got the Manly Sea Eagles getting a well-earned rest. I'm sure Seabold and the crew over there would be pretty happy to get off the park this week and work out what's going on behind the scenes. But, of course, we're here to talk about the teams. So let's get into that. Let's talk through the West Tigers and the Raiders first of all. Now, the West Tigers, big outsiders in this one, and that's fair. $3.18 they're paying in this one. The Raiders have just been way too good. Campbelltown Stadium as well. It is a home game for the Tigers, but they really don't play good footy there. So I'll be backing the Raiders pretty comfortably in this one as a Tigers supporter. Hurts my soul as a bit of a local as well. So let's have a look at the teams here. I see Luke Lally is the only one that drops off the extended bench for the Tigers, but a couple of key ins for them. So we see Talon De Silva come onto the bench. We also see Fanua Bole and Alex Twal back in the team as well. So really big ins for them. Baller up the back. We see the back 5 remains the same. Jarrell Skelton now starting to put together a couple of games, which is great. Hopefully he can get through those hammy concerns. Heath Mason named in the 6 jersey again this week. Jerome Luai named to back up from Origin now. It remains to be seen whether that's going to happen, considering it's less than 48 hours from State of Origin 2 to this game. The game is also in Perth, so you've got a good long flight, 4 or 5 hours to and from Perth. I would not be surprised if we do see some guys not play in this game specifically, the Origin players being Hudson Young, Jerome Luai. So, yeah, keep an eye out on those guys. Terrell May and Fanua Bole up front. I think that's a huge in for them, getting Bole back so early. I think it's definitely ahead of schedule based on what we knew. The edges stay the same there. Alex Twal back into the 13 jersey. He had a couple of weeks off there with a head injury assessment in his 11-day stand down. So good to see him back for the Tigers. Talon De Silva also providing some bench relief for Api Coruscant. We're probably getting to that end of the season where Api needs a bit of help. Definitely cannot play 80 minutes anymore. So TDS gets some minutes in his legs. Good to see. The rest of the bench there, Latu Fainu probably provides cover there for either Twal or Luai. He did play in that 13 role last week, so looking forward to seeing how he goes again. Jack Bird and Sione Fainu are the replacements on the bench there. For the Raiders, Ko Weeks obviously up the back now. The replacement for Savelio Tamale is officially Jed Stewart. He comes in to make his NRL debut. Congrats to Jed. The rest of the starting 13 remains the same. We do see here, Corey Horsburgh also, if he does play Origin, he's been named to back up. He is also playing in the 13 jersey, which used to be Morgan Smithies. Now we see Morgan Smithies relegated to the bench. So, it looks like they're leaning into Josh Papali'i starting, probably to handle Terrell May and Fanua Bole. I'd imagine that's tactical from Ricky Stewart. So, yeah, it remains to be seen whether it stays this way. But, Tarpany and Papali'i up front with Horsburgh, Locke, Hosking and Young named to back up as well. So he's the other one that I'm watching pretty closely. If he gets any sort of minutes under his belt through Origin, I think maybe there's a chance he rests, but I think there's still more chance he plays. Owen Paddy, Simi Sasagi, who has been brilliant when he's got the opportunity in the minutes. Morgan Smithies and Adam Mariota there rounding out the bench. No real issues or concerns there that I would see. moving forward, that is game 1. I'll be taking the Raiders in this one, sadly. Game 2, Warriors versus the Penrith Panthers. We can take the Warriors pretty comfortably. Not only is it in New Zealand, but Panthers have rested all of their origin players. As you'll see there on the screen, it's a very big list of players that are missing in this one. Kurt Capewell, he is out of the Warriors team, not named to back up. And naturally, you would see the same thing there. So, the Panthers boys, all 5 of them in To'o, Edwards, Yeo, Martin, and Cleary, all not even named in the 24 this week. Obviously, we've had a bit of a tip-off from Ivan Cleary about 6 to 8 weeks ago that this was going to happen. So that's been confirmed, and looks like Kurt Capewell is the one that misses out for the Warriors as well in this one due to the same reasons. In the back row, we see Moala Graham Taufa playing at centre, named at centre there. Adam Pompey on the extended bench, so I'm not sure if that's a dropping or whether we see him come in late. RTS on the wing there, stays on the wing. He's been doing some good stuff since he's been back from injury. Lukey Metcalf and Chanel Harris-Tavita both on fire as well. Wade Egan also returns from his injury, so good to see Wade Egan back in the team. That's going to be huge for the Waz. Murata Niokore, he's holding down the prop rotation since Mitch Barnett has been injured. Leka Halasima and Jacob Laban on the edges there. Laban gets that opportunity through Capewell. And Aaron Clark locking the scrum again. He's been immense this year so far. Tamari Martin, Jackson Ford, Dimitri Vermaga, and Tanastawa Smith round out the bench. We see Sam Healy. He's been dropped, obviously, due to the fact that Wade Egan is an 80-minute hooker. He's back in the team. Bunty Afoa can't get a gig, and Ed Cossey as well could be back in this team. We'll see whether he's preferred at the 1 hour time. Now, Dane Laurie comes in for Dylan Edwards. We see Thomas Jenkins still on the wing after his monster effort in round 14, I think it might have been. Casey McLean stays at centre there. Paul Alamotti comes in to replace Brian To'o, who obviously is not playing. Brad Schneider is the replacement for Nathan Cleary. And then we see Lindsay Smith and Moses Leota up front. Mitch Kenny gets the captaincy for this one. Congrats to him. Isaiah Papali'i comes back in for Liam Martin, who won't be backing up, and Matt Eisenhuth is the 13 replacement for Isaiah Yeo. Trent Tolau, Liam Henry, Luran Patea, and Luke Garner comes into the team there in the 17 jersey. So, the Penrith Panthers are decimated, but it looks like they've got no choice but to rest their stars in this one. It's a long trip, especially when you're getting overseas. So, sadly, they're going to miss their troops, and I think the Warriors do this one pretty comfortably in the end. Let's move on to game 3. The red-hot Dolphins scored 158 points in 3 games, coming up against the Knights, who, let's be honest, they haven't been great in attack, but defensively have been one of the better teams in the competition. Despite their standing on the ladder, they have been incredibly good defensively. So let's have a look at this one. This one's HBF Park in Perth as well. So, they're getting a bit of footy over in Perth this week. No real home ground advantage, I guess, but you've got to go with the red-hot team, don't you? But we'll talk about the Knights team. They look a lot better this week. We'll cover the Dolphins first. Hammer, due to back up, named to back up. I would naturally think that he would just be staying in Perth for this game, so there would be no risk of him not backing up. Felice Kafusi is the only one that's out here for the Finns. Asako, Avarillo, Farnworth, and Bostock have been great on their edges, respectively. Isaiah Katoa continues to lead the team, the captain, in the number 7 jersey. Huge honour for him as well. Good on Isaiah Katoa, one of the form halfbacks of the competition and a future of footy for years and years to come. Mark Nichols is the one that comes in to replace Felice Kafusi in the 10 jersey, and then the rest of the back row stays the same. It's Finafuiaki and Keeley on the edges. Donahue holds down the 13. He did a great job last week as well. Connolly Lemuelu off the bench is that attacking punch too. Seems to be working really well for them. So that is the Finns. Not really many changes there. Let's talk about the Knights, though, because last week we saw Dominic Young in red and white and blue. Now we see him in red and blue for the Knights. He is back in Newcastle. He is on the wing there to partner Greg Marju, who has been named despite the issue with his neck, sciatic pain, whatever it was, a neck and arm issue that he had last week at the end of the game. He has been named. Bradman Best has also been named to come back from his millionth hamstring injury. So let's hope he can get through this one unscathed. Kalen Ponga also named to back up there. Obviously doesn't have to travel. So good result for the Knights there. Fletcher Sharp also named to play after his calf injury that has saw him miss last week. So good. Some good news finally for the Knights. They get some players on the park this week. Tyson Frizzell, Matt Croker up front. Brayley plays the 9. as Phoenix Crossland has really no choice but to be in the 13 jersey. Dylan Lucas and Kai Pearce-Paul on the edges. It's Brodie Jones, Thomas Cart, Jermaine McEwen, and Salesa Mona in the 17 jersey there. James Schiller sadly has made way for Dom Young, but look, if there's a player you're going to pick in that back line, sadly, it's Schiller that misses out. Jackson Hastings and Fletcher Hunt, also the ones missing, and Kyle McCarthy missing from last week. So they're on the extended bench there as any cover in case their guys don't pull up too well after Origin, but there is a little bit less than 72 hours after the game. So hopefully that should be enough to get these guys up and about. I'll be backing the, you know what? Let's get it. I'm going to back the Dolphins, but I'll tell you what, I don't think it's going to be. I'd love to see what the line is for the bookies because I reckon the Knights could cover the line in this one. Just a funny feeling, I reckon, that that back line's got a bit of spark about it. Fletcher Sharp being back, if they come into this game relatively full strength, I think that unless they get steamrolled through the middle, which I don't think Dolphins can do to them, I think the Knights can put up a fight in this one. So let's go Dolphins win, but Knights cover the line if you're a punter. Gamble responsibly. Rabbitohs versus the Storm. Obviously, they're coming into this game with their guys backing up, and the Rabbitohs have a couple of key ins as well, but a couple of outs. Now, Jai Gray, broken thumb. Sadly, he'll be missing 4 to 6 weeks. Jaden Sullivan, also injured. He'll be out, but they do get some ins. Latrell Mitchell is named to back up, which is great news for the Rabbitohs. We also see Cody Walker onto the extended bench with Campbell Graham, so they could get some late ins here. Alex Johnston and Ty Munro named on the wings. I would naturally assume it's Isaiah Tass that makes way for Campbell Graham if he is fit to play after missing last week. Lewis Dodd named in the 6, but again, I would naturally think that Cody Walker on the extended bench will be replacing him if he's good to go, assuming we've got fitness tests coming to make sure that they're cleared to play. Jamie Humphries in the 7. Jai Arrow and Davey Moali up front there for Keon Kalamatangi, who is out for anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks. We're still waiting on the results of his scans, so stay tuned on that to see what the severity looks like for Keon. Saliva Havili has been great in the 9 jersey, and then the edges and Hubner stays at 13, stay all the same. Ryan Gray, who got a game in last week, he plays again in the 14 jersey, and then Kepi, LeBlanc, and Totola rounding out the bench there. What I do find really strange is that Keon Kalamatangi has been named on the extended bench. Is that a sliver of hope for us? Potentially that we might see him this week if scans come back that they aren't too bad. So let's see. Could we get face mask Keon? That carbon fiber face mask Keon like LeBron James. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. Ryan Pappenhausen's been named at the back as always. Grant Anderson, Howarth, Meaney, and Coates there. Xavier Coates probably the one that is a chance of not backing up, and I would say Cam Munster and Harry Grant are the other two that I'll be looking at. Depending on how they pull up after Origin 2, but they do have the cover in the extended bench there. But you will notice that they are pretty much 1 through 13 in this game. Tyron Wishart on the bench in the 14. Wishart could cover a number of positions. He could cover Munster at 6. He also could cover 13 if he needed to, if Trent Liero isn't good to back up. Nelson Asofa Solomona could also cover 13. They've also got Bronson Garlick on the bench here to cover 9. And in the extended bench, you've got Suafar Longo there to cover Xavier Coates. So they've covered all bases here, I would naturally think. Just in case these guys aren't good to go, Craig Bellamy's got his troops ready to cover if worst case scenario. I'll be backing the Storm in this one. But I might have to change my tip if we see Grant, Munster, Coates drop out. Even then, I'm probably still leaning towards taking the Storm in this one. Fifth game, we've got Broncos versus the Sharks. 7th plays 5th. The Sharks on a very steep downfall at the moment. The Broncos starting to maybe find a little bit of legs. $1.50 to the Broncos. They are playing at Suncorp. So their big names have been named to back up as well in Paddy Carrigan and Payne Haas. So, good signs. Reece Walsh up the back. Karapani holds on to the wing spot over Selwyn Cobbo, who has been named on the extended bench. Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mam still in the halves. Jensen and Haas are the props. They've got Corey Pakes there starting in the 9 jersey. Piakura also. I initially loved the look of Piakura there starting on an edge. Carrigan in the 13. But I think with Jack Gashevsky back in the 17 jersey, that just presents a little bit too much risk there for me, that Piakura is going to be the one that gets pulled to the bench there as to get some minutes for Goz. So Kobe Hetherington, Willison, and Billy Walters there are the ones on the bench. Selwyn Cobbo in the 19 jersey. to cover there if necessary. Let's see if he's done enough to get back in Madge's good books. Now, the Sharkies, they've got Sifa Talakai there in to replace Maween Harodi, who went down with a calf last week. 4 to 6 weeks for him, sadly. And, obviously, Kale Iro just went pec surgery, so he'll be out for 12 weeks. So Sifa Talakai gets anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks of time at centre. Is that enough? I don't know. I love Sifa Talakai, though, as a player. And I think what he's going to do is unlock Ronaldo Mulatalo a little bit more on that left wing. So the man I'm probably tempted to take a flyer on would be Ronnie a little bit more than Sifa. But at the price, Sifa could be a fantastic option. Nico Hines obviously paired with Braden Trindle in the halves, and the 8 through 13 are exactly the same as normal. The bench looks exactly the same as well. With no Billy Burns, he is on the extended bench in the 18 jersey. That is the Broncos and the Sharks. We're back in we're back in the Broncos here. I think that they're probably going to start to get a roll on. The Sharks are on a decline. They're really struggling to find their best football, and if they can't find their best footy at Shark Park, they're certainly not going to find their best footy at Suncorp Stadium. So maybe Madge's getting these boys going for the Broncos. Roosters and Cowboys, second last game of the week at 4:05 p.m. on Sunday. This is at Allianz. I'll be back in the Roosters pretty comfortably in this one. Even though they are, they've got a lot of guys backing up. This is Sunday, 4 p.m. So this is nearly 4 days after Origin. So I'd like to think we're not going to see too many restings here. They do lose Dom Young, but Mark Nwanga goes back to the wing for the Roosters. Rob Toya comes in to take his spot at centre. So no real big changes there, as Dom Young was a bit of a fill-in, wasn't he, for the Roosters? Then we've got Sandon Smith and Hugo Savala. Sam Walker's still another 3 to 4 weeks away with that broken thumb, sadly. Lindsay Collins named to back up from Origin. Connor Watson named to back up from Origin. Naf White trying to string some games together after coming back from his MCL injury. Angus Crichton named to back up from Origin. And Salisi Fiketti, who has been monstrous and had a massive game last week, he is named in the 13 jersey. So, anybody maybe in the fantasy world want to take a flyer on him? I actually got him last week in fantasy. So he might be a decent little shout there, because we know that in round 18, that spot's probably his as well. So I don't mind him. And then we've got Ben Awilu, Docker Clay, Blake Steep, who's also been immense, and Spencer Lenu named to back up from Origin. So Roosters are looking pretty good. The Cowboys, on the other hand, the Cowboys have named all of their guys to back up, but bloody hell, they're going to want to be better than they were last week. Shit, they were poor. Drinky needs a bounce back in this game, and there's every chance it'll come. We see Zach Labart still at centre. Murray Talangi also on the wing there, so he'll be able to put together his second game after injury. Jackson Purdue and Tom Dearden are the halves. McLean and Cohen Hess are the props. Reece Robson named to back up from Origin. Jeremiah Nanai also named to back up from Origin, as is Ruben Cotter in the 13 jersey. Harrison Edwards, Sam McIntyre, Griffin Neem, and Thomas McKaylee are the bench, with Kai O'Donnell, Caden Lars, Braden Burns, and Jake Clifford dropping out of the team for the Origin boys to come back in. Roosters are going to do this one, I'd like to say, pretty comfortably, just due to the fact that it's at home, but then I don't even know whether I trust the Cowboys at home at the moment. So, $1.44 probably should be $1.20. The Eels play the Titans in the final game, and do we have some bangers for you here? When we look at the team, the two big outs for the Eels, Dylan Brown and Mitchell Moses. So we're running with Joash Papali'i getting a crack in the number 6 jersey, which is actually really exciting for me. I'm a big Joash fan. I think he could have a massive game, and given the opportunity and given the chance to get some games together under his belt, he's going to be a star of the future. I can promise you that. Dean Hawkins takes the 7 jersey for Mitchell Moses. He'll likely have that for the next 6 weeks, as Moses is out with a calf for that period. Jack Williams has been huge. Junior Bolo has been named. He's the captain of this team. Riley Smith at hooker, as always, and then the back 3 in Tuolangi, Katoga, and Hopgood, all on the edges, and Locke are all named. Dylan Walker is there in the 14, as he always is. Matty Dory. Wiremu Greg makes his first appearance for 2025 after being a pretty pivotal part of a successful Eels team in 23-24. So Jordan Samrani also dropping to the bench. He's in the 17 jersey. We see Charlie Geimer on the bench there as well. So interesting to see what direction they go with that. Ron Volkman, I'm naturally assuming if they wanted to go a different direction than Joash Papali'i, then that's the way they'd go. But I don't see too many changes here. But for the Titans, David Fafita's back. Jojo Fafita's back. Mo Fodawaker is named to back up. Tino is named to back up, but they're on the bench. So very interesting to see what people do with Tino this week, seeing him named on the bench. I traded him last week. I don't feel bad about it at all. And we'll see what happens on the run home. But AJ Brimson named at fullback again. We love to see the 1 next to AJ. Then we've got Jojo Fafita and Philip Sami named at centre. No Brian Kelly. He's been named on the extended bench this week. So I have a feeling there's some ducks and drakes going on here with Des. I reckon there's every chance we see Alan Fitzgibbon drop out. We see Philip Sami move to the wing and Brian Kelly come in at centre. That's just my guess. We know Des loves to play a few Teamless Tuesday tricks, don't we? Kieran Foran and Campbell are the halves. Jolliffe and Campbell-Gillard are the props. Randall stays on an edge despite Fafita being named in the 18 jersey. Maybe that's Des sending a message. Who knows? And Beau Fermor, obviously, he is locked into that edge spot. Cleese Haas also named in the 13 jersey. So we do see Tino and Mo Fotuaika there in the 16 and 17, respectively, to pair with Isaac Fa'asul-Malaawi and Alec Wienke. So, yeah, it's hard to know exactly what this is going to look like. I think you could throw a few darts at a dartboard and you'll get a different result every single time. No one knows what Des is thinking. I don't even know whether Des knows what Des is thinking. David Fafita in the 18 is interesting. I would naturally think if he's fit to be picked, he's going to have to go through a fitness test. He is available, apparently, to be picked. So let's see whether Des wants to break up that cohesion and that team that he's put together, although they're not exactly performing amazingly, aside from last week. So can you take a flyer on Fafita? I don't know whether I've got the balls on me, but I know some people will. There's Brian Kelly in the 22. So there's every chance I think Kelly comes in and we see Alan Fitzgibbon drop out of the team and we see that shuffle there with Sami to the wing and Kelly at centre. Guys, I will be backing the Titans in this one. I think I have to. Just missing Brown and Moses is just, it's not a good thing. Not a good thing for the Eels. They need someone to lead them around the park. I'm excited for Papali'i, but they're going to really miss Moses and Brown there in this team. So I'll back them. I'll back the Titans in as much as I don't feel confident ever backing the Titans. Let's see how that plays out. Guys, that is TLT for round 16, or there's only 12 rounds left for the NRL season before we hit the finals period. So things are flying along. If you like the episode, guys, please hit subscribe. We would really appreciate it. Obviously, you'll get the notification. You'll get the bell on every single time we do an episode, so you don't miss anything moving forward. And if you could, hit that like button down below if you like the content. It does help us get the episodes out to more people. Thanks for watching, guys. Our Supercoach shows are going to be coming up throughout the week. We've got tonight. You'll see Matrix and Whisperer. They'll be doing the Q&A for our Patreon subscribers. And due to Origin on Wednesday night, we will be doing our live preview for round 16 for NRL Supercoach on Thursday evening this week. Good luck this coming week, guys, and go the Blues. Catch you later.